Welcome to Flavor Text, an extension of the Max Level podcast brought to you by Technisport Gaming Chairs. Use offer code LDG to save 10% whenever you make a purchase on a brand new gaming chair, desk, or accessories. Be sure to subscribe to the Max Level podcast on your podcast app of choice to hear a new episode every Monday morning at 5 a.m. Eastern. On today's episode of Flavor Text, the crew speculates on what Google is set to announce next month at the Game Developers Conference that is gaming related. Support us by clicking that subscribe button, hit the like, turn notifications on, and drop a comment down below. So we have something interesting here for Flavor Text this week because we are talking about a potentially new console or new gaming idea about to enter the market. Maybe this year, maybe next year. We don't really know. It's been being talked about for years, but it's finally getting something behind it. According to a report on Polygon, Google is set to reveal information about its unannounced gaming project at GDC in San Francisco. GDC is next month. The company is holding a keynote presentation on March 19th at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, where it's expected to reveal details about a new endeavor focused on gaming. Official details are scarce, as the invite sent out by Google only features the tagline, "Gather Around," and an image of what appeared to be a darkened hallway leading toward a lighted exit. Google is reported to be working on a, quote, subscription-based gaming streaming service that could work either on Google's Chromecast or possibly a Google-made console, end quote, according to a report from The Information. That project is reportedly codenamed Yeti. A follow-up report from Kotaku indicated that Google was pursuing a streaming service paired with hardware and an aggressive effort to acquire or attract game developers to Google's platform. In October 2018, Google unveiled Project Stream, technology that enabled high-quality streaming of games through the company's Chrome browser. Google partnered with publisher Ubisoft to make Assassin's Creed Odyssey playable over the internet. I believe that's how it's playable in Japan even. Polygon called Project Stream's performance surprisingly great during their hands-on testing with the beta last year. So we have Frank and Sean on the cast with us this week for Flavor Text. And I want to know, is Google the next serious competitor for the gaming industry to keep an eye on? Is this something we should be watching and keeping an eye on?
Yeah.
It's Google. I mean,
wait, hold on, pause. Are you drinking Mellow Yellow?
Mountain Holler, dude.
Mountain Holler. Welcome to the show. It's Flavor Text, baby.
Yeah, one of them off-brand Mountain Dew drinks.
Yes, this is absolutely something that we need to get excited over because Google rocks. Google rocks. No, you know what? It's exciting because it opens up so many opportunities for people. This is something that kind of takes us away from what we've known over the last, 12, 15 years, where consoles just keep on getting better and better and better over years. But now we have a way to play a game if we don't want to buy a big old console. Now, that doesn't mean that we won't have to buy something.
Right.
But it's a step in the right direction. So traditionally, streaming stuff doesn't cost as much as actual consoles. Yeah,
you look at like a Roku or a Fire Stick or even like they mentioned, like a Chromecast. Could what Google is doing just be an app for the Chromecast? You know what I mean?
It would be awesome.
Yeah.
But that price point's too low and you might not be able to get good titles on it. So
a lot of mobile games don't even run with like what the Chromecast is able to do, because mobile games, iOS games, Android games, you know, as we get further and further into smartphone technology, those games are requiring, you know, technology that is almost on par with like modern consoles.
Yeah.
Like the phones that we have in our pockets literally are just slightly less powerful and sometimes even more powerful than what we have hooked up to our TV to play games.
And yet NetEase continues to drop dookie on us with their stupid Diablo Immortal.
Dude, what's wrong with Diablo Immortal? You have a phone, you can play it.
Guys, I keep telling you, I'm trying to like purge that from my mind. It doesn't exist. It never will.
I'm going to keep bringing it up. I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep drilling it in because it pisses me off.
It's just another nail in my heart.
Frank, what do you want to see Google do here?
Yeah, tell me. I want to know.
I think that, like I said, we're almost growing complacent with the fact that we only have these three major competitors. I want this big four to shake things up like you wouldn't believe. You know, it's like the good old days. You had Nintendo, you had Sega. You know, like Google can partner with just about anybody. They're not bound to anyone.
So you want to see Google partner with somebody instead of releasing their own thing?
That's the thing. They can partner with someone if they want to. They have the money to do whatever the hell they want. They got more net worth than the rest of them all put together. So this is like the eccentric billionaire putting together his own package, so to speak. They can afford to fail. They could spend $1 billion, $2 billion, and not even worry about it.
That is true. That is true. They can definitely take risks, and it would not necessarily mean anything for them because it's just money. It's just money spent, and they have an endless supply of money.
I mean, they're approaching like Apple. They're approaching Apple money, where they're worth like trillions. I don't think Google hit $1 trillion yet. I know Apple has. We expected Apple to become this next big behemoth, if you remember, and then they have it. But I have high hopes. I mean, but I don't see them developing their own stuff. I would love for them to develop their own stuff. So but I don't. Every time I say this, they prove me wrong. I don't. It is what it is.
Here's the thing, though. You're so easy to be proven wrong.
Ooh. That's
why I prove you wrong all the time.
Because I'm ever the optimist, but I'm also a realist. So it's a hard mix to get there. Do you think that Google will open up a bunch of studios and start developing games? I don't think that's what they'll be doing.
Do I think they'll open studios? No. Do I think they'll purchase studios? Yes.
That's a possibility. That's they could buy Sega. They could steal them away from Nintendo.
They could buy whoever they want, dude. I mean, Apple. Who bought Amazon? They have Amazon Game Studios now. They actually purchased Double Helix Games, which their first game, Double Helix. They purchased them. Oh man, back in like 2014. So their Double Helix was their first ever game of Silent Hill Homecoming, and then they also worked on season 1 for Killer Instinct and a couple other smaller games, but. Yeah, Amazon has their own games studio now, Double Helix, that works on developing games for Amazon. So if Google is going to do something that isn't a rental service or something that works with other consoles, I could see them, much like Frank talking about, he didn't think Google would, go out and form new studios or make new studios. I could see them buying smaller studios like Amazon did with Double Helix and creating games for their platform if this ends up being a Google, central platform, if it's just Google stuff. I could see that happening.
I could totally see Origin being in on this or something like that, where they already have a subscription-based Play It service on PC that they want to bring to TV. Right. They could totally do something like that.
But if like Shanti was saying, if Google could make these games accessible without a console, like just to have this streaming service or device or whatever they're coming up with, and I can't wait 3 more weeks, we'll find out. Like it'd be cool, like for me to. I don't have an Xbox. It'd be cool for me to play the new Halo. I would love to play the new Halo, without having to buy the Xbox One. I'll just stream it through Google.
If they partner with Microsoft, right?
Well, they could be the player who partners with everyone. They could actually, like. To partner with Nintendo, partner with this, so I could play.
Google is the
games.
company that unifies the consoles.
The Oasis, it's coming.
They could, man. They have the architecture. They are the internet, almost to an extent.
To an extent.
So a couple quick things. We've seen this before.
Yes.
You go to any old hotel, probably about 15, 20 years ago. There's a controller hooked up to the cable box, and you rent a game and you can play it right from the box, and they just pay whatever. Either they bought the rights to the game to do that, or they pay the developer or publisher, and they can do that.
They're running a 1989 version of the Sega Channel.
Yes, they are. Amazon does streaming stuff now where you can rent things and they pay the royalty to the content provider, and then they take a cut for their service. This is not unheard of. This can totally happen with video games. This is an online version of Redbox. It's an online blockbuster.
Yes, it could be.
It could totally be a rental service that surpasses GameFly, that really just moves past all that stuff. The only crappy part is, what's the peripheral going to be? What's the controller going to be? Is it going to translate well to the gameplay experience? Who knows? It's exciting to find out, though. Right,
because all we know that they're talking about at GDC is something gaming related. It's a gaming project. They didn't say it was, a console. They didn't say it was anything particular. So a streaming rental service that works with everything is a gaming project that qualifies.
Now, this one is subscription based, so we don't know what that means. We don't know if there's going to be a base fee to have it, and then you pay rentals to play the games.
Right.
We don't know if it's going to be like a Game Pass.
Could be. Yeah. No, it definitely could be.
We don't know.
Yeah. And Google entering the market is definitely a strong point. And we know, Frank already mentioned, we've seen Apple talk about doing this, but then never do it. Do you think that maybe someone more aggressive might try to partner up with Google, like say Epic, to bring the Epic Game Store to the Google platform?
They could take it further. They could become the modern Netflix, if you will. You remember Netflix when it first came out, was you would get discs sent to you.
Yeah, in the mail.
Much like GameFly.
You still can.
Yeah.
Can you still get DVD sent to you via Netflix? I don't think that option was gone.
No, it's a more expensive package, but you still can.
Okay,
I think they're talking about getting rid of it though at some point.
Yeah, potentially, but right now it still exists.
Yeah,
it's like the Blockbuster model. You know, it existed for a while. There's still one out there somewhere, Wisconsin, I think, or Wyoming. But yeah, they could become the Netflix of video games. They could just partner out with everyone, aggregate it all together into one app or one console, so you speak.
So then you're going back to what Sean was talking about then.
Yeah, I think he made a good point.
Yeah.
He made a damn good point.
Yeah. I didn't know if you were taking it somewhere else, but no, it's just literally the same.
No,
yeah.
Same thing, but it works.
It could. And I wish someone would just do the Netflix of video games, because you know how often we keep saying that something is going to be the Netflix of video games and it just never is.
I would never buy another game again. I would just have my subscription.
I would, because I have to play new games right away. I mean, it's the nature of the beast, and I wish you felt the same way doing something like this, but I know you would just be content playing games that are 5 and 6 years old.
Or do you have a premium membership where you can get access to things right away?
It would have to be like $100 a month. It would have to be. Otherwise, developers wouldn't get a cut for their games. There's so many new games releasing every month that it would have to be like $100 a month as like a base price. And that's just, would I pay that? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, I do. Microsoft's,
I can see the 25.
No, Microsoft's is 10. EA's is 15 for access to their new games. And like, you know, that's because they only have one, sometimes maybe two games coming out each month. So they can afford to charge $10 for it. And really, they aren't losing anything, because the amount of people that subscribe to it would probably be more than people that buy the game anyway. But if we are incorporating all studios into a model, like, you know, we have all EA stuff, all Ubisoft, all Sony, all Microsoft, all Nintendo, all EA, all whatever, Bethesda, every single studio that's out there, Rockstar, there's way too many games, new games that come out each month. Like, you look at how, you know, our release count is there's like 50, 60, 70, sometimes new games coming out each single month. In order to give everyone the appropriate cuts they would need to want to include their games on this service, base minimum $99 a month would have to be the price. Is it worth it if you buy more than 2 games a month? Yes, it is. It is worth it. And it would be cheaper, but it would be expensive for the end user. Otherwise, what's the incentive? Rockstar could just say, no, you're not fucking putting my games on that. I'll just sell my game for $60.
Exactly. The hard part is capital.
So Google has to sell it. Google has to sell it to the companies before they can sell it to the consumer. So if they did something like that, the companies are going to want to know, what's in it for me? How do I get paid out of this? Because I can go, Rockstar knows they're popular. Ubisoft knows they're popular. People buy these games because they like playing them. So if this company could say, you know, I'll let you put Assassin's Creed on there. I'll let you put the next Assassin's Creed, or, you know, GTA 6, you can have access to that to this system. But what am I going to get in return? Like, what is my kickback? What's the revenue I'm going to see from this? And Google has to say, well, you're going to get a certain percentage for each person. In order to pay that, Google's either going to have to take a loss and pay it out of their own pocket, or they're going to have to charge enough to cover the costs.
You could do like how movie stores used to work. They would have the VHSs. They would buy from a distributor. They're not paying the same price that we pay for a VHS. They're paying like $400 or $500 per tape, because you're going to make money off of it.
Okay, so then
Google could essentially lay out some crazy amount of money, which again isn't even a crazy amount to them. You know, here's $100 million. I'm putting out Red Dead Redemption. You know, so they get their money, and they're going to make more off of that.
So Google buys access to 1,000 games, so only 1,000 people can stream it at that point. Then, otherwise, if Google buys 1,000 games from Rockstar, Red Dead Redemption 2 now selling like 15 fucking million units since the game came out just a couple months ago. Google buys, say, 10 million copies and 50 million people stream it. Rockstar just lost $40 million worth, or 40 million games worth of sales at $60 a piece. A Netflix, and I hate to say this,
but they're not selling the hardware. They're just selling, like they're not. So they're saving money on the production costs on that end.
Google is, yes, not Rockstar.
Rockstar is not producing games.
Rockstar loses money, 40 million games worth of money in that model. They would lose the money out of. They're not. I think
Frank's trying to get at like actually putting it on disc and.
Yeah,
I understand.
The physical cost. So they're saving money there, and they're getting paid this much money. Like
they're saving money on the 10 million that Google purchased. They're now not seeing it because people know that they can just go and play that game on Google. Whereas the game's going to sell more than 10 million. The game's going to be like GTA. The game is going to cross the 50, 60 million mark. That now people aren't going to buy that game and at full price. GTA 6 or GTA 5 is oftentimes still sold at $40, $50, $60. Rockstar's not going to see anything after that initial 10 because I can just go and play it on the streaming service. So they just lost a ton of money. That's why the platform would have to be expensive in order to work. And it's the reason why I don't think a Netflix system is ever going to work that's going to incorporate everything. I think what we've talked about before, the only way that a system like that will be sustainable and capable of working is every company will have their own. EA has access, Origin access. Microsoft has Game Pass. We are going to start seeing more companies do that in the future. We're going to see Ubisoft.
Everyone's doing that from video games up to movies.
Yeah,
I mean,
like, no, absolutely.
Disney Plus, DC Universe.
Yep.
So yeah, it is what it is.
That's the only way it's going to work.
I want the grand unifier. That's just, again, the optimist in me. I want the grand unifier.
Utopias do not exist, my friend.
The Oasis is not a dream.
No. I'm excited for what this could do, though.
Here's the problem, though. The Netflix model might not work for games, right?
Ever.
The problem is that Netflix spent $13 billion on content licensing in 2018 in production. That's according to Investopedia. So we're looking at this and we're thinking, this is not like a little bit of money. This is a lot of money. Mm-hmm. Because you look at a movie and a movie costs significantly less than a video game. And the cost behind it, it's a different structure altogether. So you can't really look at Netflix and say, okay, this is a direct comparison, because I think it's apples and oranges. I really do.
And I think you bring up an interesting point saying that movies cost significantly less, because we've been paying $60 for games since like the beginning of gaming. Like we've been paying $60 since like the middle 90s. Gaming,
they cost more than that in the 80s.
Games have never gone up in price since, and everything else has. Like video games, technically in 2019 should probably cost $100 a game. Like in just inflation wise, they should, because budgets have gone up, production values have gone up, but game prices have stayed the same. I feel bad for the actual publishers and developers because, and I don't think anyone would ever buy a game at $100, but that's what these games are technically worth. They are.
No, because there's more of us buying them though. There's more of a market, so that's why the prices are lower.
It is more accessible.
It is more accessible, but are there actually more people buying it? I don't know.
Absolutely.
I think so.
There's more video gaming now than there were back in the 90s or the 80s or the early aughts. And that's why the games are saying, well, if the gaming community were to die out, you would absolutely see these prices go up if they kept up with these big budget games.
Well, I think that could be said for any medium. There's more people watching movies now than ever before, but movie prices have gone up.
That's because, greed.
It's because they stuck to inflation, which video games should have done.
No, it's because The Rock asks too much per movie. I mean, he puts about 20 or 30 of them a year.
No, I just think that gaming, for whatever reason, has always been excluded, and I don't think it's right. I do think that games should cost more because the games cost more to develop. It's just that's just it. I mean, it's the one thing that hasn't ever increased with inflation. So I don't know.
That and my paycheck.
Well,
we'll see, man. This is exciting news, though. We'll see next month. And then we'll see if this turns into something. Yes,
I'm excited to see what Google does. So keep an eye out. Again, their keynote is happening at GDC next month, March 19th. We will have coverage of that. What day is March 19th? That is a.
I was actually about to pull it up myself.
Yeah, that's a Tuesday. That's a Tuesday. So if they have a big stream, maybe I'll throw up a reaction video to it. Maybe I'll actually watch it live and do something, because it's obviously going to be gaming centric. So maybe I'll put that up. But regardless of what happens, the following week, so that will be the episode that posts on what, the 25th? Yeah, the 25th of March. We will be talking about that extensively on the Max Level podcast. So tune in for that and subscribe to that on Apple Podcasts if you don't already.
So what he's saying is keep it locked here to Level Down Games to see all the news and coverage on this exciting new venture.
So the big question is, what do you think Google is set to announce next month at the GDC conference? We want to know. We want to interact with you. Drop us a comment down below. Let us know what you think. Let us know if you agree with some of our ideas that we had, like with the subscription service, or if you have another idea entirely. Let's hear them. Whatever it is, I'm sure it's going to be big because it is Google, so why not have some fun speculating until they announce it? Thanks for checking out a new episode of Flavor Text. If you enjoyed what you just heard, be sure to click that subscribe button and turn notifications on, leave a like, and drop a comment down below. We'll see you next time.